sick of putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
The signs are all there.
So today we're going to go meet with a chemistry teacher in our school, and we're going to see what he has to say about dihydrogen monoxide. It'll be interesting to say the least. Hey, thank you again for meeting with me.
Yeah, you bet. No problem. Anytime.
And what you do at this school?
Yeah, sure. My name is Paul Dearland, and I'm one of the chemistry teachers here at Sturgeon Heights. Oh, I love it. You know, it's we use it a lot in chemistry. It's one of my favorite things. It's a really cool compound that, you know, as it goes from a liquid to a solid, it's one of the only things that's going to expand. We use it in a ton of different solutions. You know, yeah, it's one of my favorites.
So I've managed to find an insider at the DHMO industry that has agreed to sit down with us. What he reveals is somewhat interesting.
I've worked in both reputation protection and accident disposal during my 15 years in the industry.
Why is DHMO not seen as dangerous?
The industry has managed to secure false reports about how DHMO is not an issue whatsoever in our society. And, well, I guess has many representatives in place whose primary goal is to keep that narrative in place.
You know, as in nuclear power plants, you need it to cool those rods, right? As a torture method, I think it's a main ingredient in waterboarding, you know, that terrorist organizations would use. So, you know, you could say that water itself could be dangerous in some degree, right? But like I said, it does possess or poses some minor, you know, some severe disfigurement, some toxicity. It's really not that bad.
However, if an individual were to say, inhale a small amount of DHMO, we are typically called by representatives placed in the medical field to deal with the product, as it's called.
It's really not that bad.
Even though DHMO is claimed to be safe and pose no harm, do your own research. If something's too good to be true, it probably is. It's really not that bad.
DHMO is a major component in acid rain, an oxidizer of many metals, and a large contributor to soil erosion. DHMO also poses a large risk of death if even very small quantities of it are inhaled. Prolonged exposure to solid DHMO can cause severe tissue damage, while gaseous DHMO can produce severe burns, and much more. So how is it that a chemical so dangerous, and seemingly a threat to human life itself, continues to be ignored by everyone?
My name is Todd Cardinal. I'm a high school teacher, but from the years 1986 to 1991, I was a triathlete. At the time, there wasn't a lot of research being done about the benefits of DHMO. I feel like I sort of got the inside news way ahead of my competitors, and even though they might have been training harder than me, I feel as though DHMO was an asset. I felt some pressure from my coach, but at the time, you have to understand that the substance itself wasn't being widely used, so it was still pretty taboo and not really talked about a whole lot. Is DHMO a performance-enhancing drug? Absolutely. Once the regulatory bodies catch on to its impact on athletic performance, you can count on it being regulated very heavily.
So after all I've uncovered about DHMO so far, I figured it was time to survey the public and see what they knew about DHMO. And I decided to do exactly that by creating a survey and sending it out to the entire school to see what students knew about DHMO. The results are interesting to say the least.
83.3% of students weren't aware that DHMO was common in our school. But what's more surprising about the responses is that only 22.2% of students thought that DHMO needed to be banned, with 77.8% of students reporting that they needed to learn more about it to make a decision. While I was creating this survey, I figured it might also be a good idea to reach out to the administrators to see what they had to say about DHMO at our school and in general. Unfortunately, they refused to comment, which further solidified my belief that something's being hid from us. but unfortunately, there was nothing I could do.
So, after all of the work I've put into this, the research I've done, the people I've talked to, what's still being done? Well, nothing. The administrators refuse to talk to me, and honestly, I'm a little bit concerned for our school. So what can we do? Well, we can organize walkouts, protests, heck, we can even bring it to the government. And in fact, there's a lot of stuff that we can do that might seem insignificant, but might cause some benefits in our society. Now, this might seem a little bit weird, but I think that we might be able to make some big changes and maybe even get rid of DHMO entirely. Now, I know it's a lot to ask, but maybe consider organizing something for you or your school if you're watching this from somewhere else. Now, I think that's it for me, but hopefully you'll be seeing more of me once I get it figured out. Peace out.
What am I saying again? DMHO, what is it?